Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Coffee and Conversation interviews between undergraduate students and graduate students. We'll be talking about quarantine and COVID and just the way that the state of the world right now is affecting the academic community. This is Charlisa, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charlisa Whyms. I'm currently a second year graduate student in the chemistry and biochemistry department. I am a native from Nassau, Bahamas. I was a high school teacher before coming to grad school for 4 years. I have done a lot of stuff up until this point, and I'm really excited to be talking to you guys, telling you about what it's like now for me and how am I coping with the times that we're in right now being a graduate student.
Definitely. So how has life been for you since quarantine started? What's your day-to-day
So
routine?
it's been like in like a roller coaster. Like there are some good days and some bad days, and there are some days where I don't get nothing done, and then I beat myself up about it. And then there are days where I'm like extra efficient, and I feel very productive, and I'm proud of like what I've done. And then there are days where it's just like you're there, but like, you don't feel anything. You're just there and you're just trying to just pass the days by. But I have been trying to continue to do research. However, I'm able to do that. I've been doing some reading, some writing, some socializing via Zoom with my lab mates. And then I just recently celebrated my 28th birthday during quarantine. So I wasn't able to like go out and have a big celebration like I had planned, but I did have a virtual karaoke session.
That's fun.
So, I mean, yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. And we started at like 9 and I ended the call at like 2 a.m. So it was really good. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make do with like go with the flow of the world right now. Just do what I can to get by every day. But it's been a roller coaster to say the least. Like it's been a very crazy roller coaster. When it first started, it was like, yeah, it's gonna be, you know. But as time go on, it's like so much uncertainty that you can't really plan for anything because you just don't know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah,
that's what's been going on. Yeah.
it's definitely an uncertain time.
Yeah, it's very uncertain.
Mm.
Um, but what I try to do is I try to stay motivated. I try to socialize with my friends or call them on the phone and do stuff like that. And my boss, she's now we're doing like daily meetings, so it keeps me accountable. So now I have to like I don't have to, but I want to. That's the big difference, you know. It don't feel like work if it's something that you want to do. So I have to be doing a lot of reading, which reading the literature has been really interesting because I'm finding a lot of connections in my research
Mm-hmm.
um, to things that I don't really see a lot of people talking about. So I'm finding questions that I can address. So that's pretty good for me. But yeah.
So are you and your lab mates, are you guys like what steps have you taken to kind of make sure that your project is sort of staying on track during all of this?
One thing we do is we have conversations with our boss and kind of bounce our ideas off of her, and
Mm-hmm.
she gives us, the yay or the nay, or the, I don't think that's a good idea, or this has been done before by somebody else, and because she has a wealth of knowledge that I don't have or they don't have, and so when we're reading, we're coming up with these ideas, but somebody else had it before. So we're able to bounce these ideas, especially in the field, off of her. And that keeps us asking new questions and trying to design new experiments. One of the things that I did do, I guess I should talk about what my research is about, huh?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So my research is structured around, well, the goal of my research is to uncover the molecular mechanisms of CRISPR-Cas systems. And pretty much what CRISPR-Cas is, it's an adaptive immune system in prokaryotes and some eukaryotes, not eukaryotes, archaea, I'm sorry. And what they do is when they're infected with some kind of bacteriophage that is like a virus, they take a piece of the genetic information of that virus, incorporate it within its own genome and or their DNA, and they use it subsequently to fight off that infection again if they were to encounter it. So it's like a vaccine for bacteria, pretty much.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And when we think about, like, for me, what gives me great satisfaction is like, even with the fact that we're in this pandemic, when I think about like what it all means, the implications of the type of research that I do, it just, for me, it's like very relevant. And the reason I say that is because out of nowhere we had this virus. I wouldn't say out of nowhere for scientists and people who have experienced like SARS and all of that. Like we've experienced and we know about flu and all that, but it's like we were going about our daily business, and then all of a sudden, wham, we got COVID-19. Then like a month later, the world shut down. So it's like out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere, but out of nowhere, I'll just say that, because it didn't really come, it came as a shock to me. My dad is 71. He turned 71 3 days after my birthday. And he's like, he never thought that he would see the day that he lived to see something like this happen. So, you know, nobody expected us to be in this situation. But when I think of the fact that we have this virus that's shutting down the world, and scientists are rushing to try to figure out what this thing looks like, how it works, and how can we stop it, it just provides a lot of like, I would say, I'm not happy about the situation, but for me, in terms of like choosing this field and choosing to come back to school and study, it's like, one, it's job security, because as long as we live and we have this host, this virus and bacteria arms race, where one, bacteria trying to figure out how to stop these viruses from infecting them so that they don't pass it on, right? And the other part is viruses are also trying to figure out, how do I stop this bacteria from killing me, because I want to live too. And so as long as we have this host, this bacteria and virus arms race, there's always got to be room for scientists to be able to uncover like what's going on and how can we stop this, how can we develop vaccines. We need a lot of information to be able to do that, and a lot of what I do kind of inform that that side of it.
It's definitely really cool that your field is like so just integrated into what's going on right now.
Yes.
Do you have any like particular career aspiration that you're looking for?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have one, but I have a lot. Like, I have one ultimate goal, but I have a lot of things on my list that I feel like leading off to that ultimate goal. Like, I'm not saying I want to do this tomorrow, but there's a lot of things that I want to do in the interim that's like supporting, not necessarily supporting that, but on the way to accomplishing that. So that ultimate goal is, I do aspire to be a university president one day.
That's awesome.
And I do aspire to run my own lab, to be a PI, to be able to foster young scientists and train them. So that's another one. And teaching is at the core of who I am. So whatever I do, I want to be able to teach, and I want to be able to inspire and expose individuals to careers in STEM, and opportunities for them. Because if you say STEM in a classroom, and remember, I was a science teacher, I taught middle and high school students science. I taught in everything from life science, physical science, earth science, health, reproduction, all of that stuff. And when you talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, a lot of my students were, they weren't interested in that. They weren't interested in anything STEM. They wanted things like, they wanted to be a guidance counselor, they wanted to be a teacher, they wanted to be, while all these things are noble, I rarely had people saying, oh, I want to be a scientist, or, oh, I want to go and be an engineer. Well, engineering is becoming a lot more popular among the children. Like, I heard a lot of engineering, but more males want to do engineering. So you have females that's like, they're not saying they want to be an engineer. So it's like you have a lot of mystery to these careers, and a lot of young people don't know that these careers are very diverse. STEM careers are very diverse. Whatever it is that you like to do, there is a place for you in STEM, right? And so whatever I do, I want to teach, I want to expose, and I want to empower young people to think outside the box and not be afraid of STEM.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see like how education has just like had an impact on your life and how important it is to you.
Very, very much so. Like, for me, I grew up, I wasn't like dirt poor, but we had our days. And for me, my outlet, like, when you in a house and your electricity is off, and you gotta study with a candle, or you have days where you don't have food, so we're like rationing our food and stuff like that. For me, my only outlet was, I have to get an education. And the reason why I have to get an education is because I cannot, and I cry because I think about, my mindset back then, but I cannot end up like this. I cannot end up in a situation where I'm not able to financially support myself or kids when I have them. So for me, education was the thing that I chose to focus on. I would say from 10th grade or ninth grade until this day. Like, I probably never even made a C from then until now. Like, it was all just full speed ahead. And once I made up my mind that education was important to me, my opportunity, I got a full scholarship to go to college, and I graduated with my bachelor's with I graduated summa cum laude. I was able to teach, and I enjoyed the time that I taught. And so I was still, kind of giving back and trying to instill in the kids the things that helped me to escape my back then future, because when I saw everyone around me, I didn't see doctors, I didn't see lawyers. I saw people that were in gangs. I saw people that were working, just everyday jobs, no careers. So it wasn't that I had that person, to look up to. So I chose to do or focus on my education to be able to do what I'm doing now. And eventually I want to help and kind of be that person to show kids that may have obstacles that make things like becoming going to even undergrad, being the first in their family to go to school, financial obstacles, emotional, mental, because I also have not mental, but emotional problems that I'm going to counseling about. So I know what it is to have all these problems and still have to deal with, your emotional state because of what you went through. So I want to be able to kind of communicate that to young people and help them to overcome those obstacles. Use those obstacles as like stepping stones to success, if you would say. I have a friend that wrote that in an essay. I don't know why that just came up to my head, but he was telling me about it, so that's why I said it. But yeah.
That's amazing though. Like honestly, just that is such an empowering story. And honestly, just, I mean, when you get there, because I'm sure you will, you're going to be so inspiring to so many people. And like, it's great to know that there are people like you who are really trying to, inspire others to pull themselves out of bad situations and just to like keep pushing forward.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, we are unfortunately coming up on time. Uh, this has been great, but do you have any final sort of closing remarks or maybe advice that you'd like to give to anybody who's listening?
The advice that I would give to anyone that's listening, first, if you're experiencing, well, you are, because we all are, experiencing the effects of COVID-19, to be encouraged and to just continue to try to find ways and means to be happy and do anything that you can to protect your energy, protect your peace. And also, I would like to tell, undergrads, graduate students that to continue doing what you're doing. Don't lose focus, don't lose sight of your end goal. And yeah, I think that's what I would say.